Well, good evening, family. Good evening. This is yours truly, Prophet C.T. Johnson. It's Monday. I know it's been a few weeks, but hey, I'm back and I'm ready to dive in to tonight's discussion. I need for you to, as you come in, say hello to me that I may say hello to you. I missed you guys. And again, I'm so excited to be back to share with you what's on God's heart as it pertains to the era, the time that we are in. So, again, good evening to you guys. I'm glad that you're back, glad that I'm back. And I need for you to share, of course, as you come in Facebook, you know the drill. We need for you to follow the ministries page, CT Johnson Ministries, right here on Facebook. Follow the page. We need for you to like the video and yes, share it, share it, share it. And to our YouTube family, greetings to you. You know what we need for you to do over there on the YouTube streets. We need for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, CT Johnson Ministries. We need for you to hit the like button, the thumbs up there to help with our algorithm really across both social media platforms, but specifically on YouTube. We need for you to subscribe and then hit that like button and share as well. And let your social media family know that Prophet C.T. Johnson is back with Empowerment Monday. And so we're going to delve right into the continuation, really, of what we started 2 weeks ago. And so I'm going to give just a brief synopsis to refresh your memory, and to those that are watching for the first time, we want to know where you are watching from, where in the world you are watching from. Let us know the state, let us know the country that you're watching from. But we want to give a brief synopsis of what we started, what we initiated 2 weeks ago, to refresh our memory, bring us up to where we are tonight and where we're going. And then again, for those of you that are watching for the first time, to bring you into what it is we're discussing, making sure that you are abreast and right along with us on the same page as it pertains to what we are discussing, which is the agenda to normalize pedophilia. All right. I need for you rather to share again, share as you come in on tonight. This information need be dispersed. It need get into the hands of all you know. For those whom have children biologically, for those whom are guardians of children, and really for we adults whom are the protectors and ones responsible to govern, to guide, to guard, to safeguard our children, for they are, yes, our future, but they're also a great part of what's happening right now in our present. And we need them to be protected. We need them to be safe. We need for them to remain alive and unharmed in every aspect, mentally, physically, because physical abuse, it affects an individual emotionally, it affects them psychologically, it affects them spiritually, it infects or it affects every aspect of their life. So we're going to continue what we started again 2 weeks ago as it pertains to dealing with the agenda to normalize pedophilia. That's right, you heard me correct. There is an agenda, not necessarily afoot. There is an agenda that has been initiated, that is being pushed. The enemy, Satan, has already gathered and galvanized his constituents as it pertains to the initiation and the pushing and the furtherance of this agenda to normalize pedophilia. And I want to parenthetically insert this as I continue to expound and expand upon this agenda, this demonic, wicked, damnable agenda. I want you to understand, and I stated this when we rolled this out 2 weeks ago, that legalization is the result of normalization. I want you to write that down. Put that in the comments. Hashtag legalization is the result of normalization. And make sure that you have your utensils, your writing utensils, pad, paper, electronic devices to take notes. You want to take notes because I'm going to give you some disturbing, unfortunately, and shocking, sobering information. But in order for us to be effective in winning the war that Satan has unleashed on family, the definition of family, the definition of marriage, we must be equipped and a part, an intricate part of being equipped is being educated. Did you catch that? An intricate part of being equipped to conquer, to subdue, is to be educated adequately regarding what it is you're facing as it pertains to the battle, as it pertains to the enemy, the opposition that you are facing. And that's where we're struggling. We're struggling with being educated according to what it is we are facing, what is opposing us, the attacks, the devices of the enemy. But I said all that to say this again: legalization is the result of normalization. And this is a demonic stratagem of hell. Did you hear me? This is a demonic stratagem of hell. What is hell's stratagem? Normalization. Normalization. If you don't understand what that means, normalization, of course, derives from the root word normal. Okay. So the enemy is endeavoring to normalize us to the behavior and the practices of pedophilia as well as homosexuality. And really, the agendas are connected. But that's another discussion for another date. I want to remain on target and remain on track as it pertains to the specificity of our topic, and that is the normalization of the pedophile and or pedophilia agenda. Now, if you remember, and listen, y'all stick with the prophet tonight because I have some shocking information that I'm going to present to you here in a minute, but I'm still in recap mode. We initiated this teaching, we rolled this teaching out by informing you of the pedophilia flag. And you'll see it here in a minute when we get into our slides. But just as the LGBTQ community has a flag representing their community proudly, braggadociously now, the flag is displayed everywhere. And not only by members of the LGBT community, but by supporters. But I shared with you when we rolled this teaching out that in 2018, the pedophilia flag was disclosed, immersed, and it's similar in design, similar in color, but there is distinction and differentiation between the pedophile flag and the homosexual, the LGBTQ flag. And there were many of you that watched when we initiated this that were ignorant of this reality. I was ignorant of it until last month. I came across it, and then I began to study and dig my heels into this. And I'm still digging my heels into this and researching as it pertains to the agenda to normalize pedophilia. And I'm going to continue to use the word pedophilia because, as I shared with you again several weeks ago, the culture is endeavoring to normalize us by the means of sophistry. They're endeavoring to redefine the meanings of word, to throw you and I off track, to deceive us in thinking that pedophilia is not what it once was, due to the culture, due to that community now having redefined it as MAP. I want you, for those of you whom are hearing, for those of you whom this is new to, you don't know what MAP is, look up the acronym MAP. It stands for Minor Attracted Persons. That's the redefinition of the term pedophile, because pedophile is too harsh. Pedophile is too abrupt. It's too it's now being considered as hate speech, because I'm telling you, this damnable demonic agenda, Satan was, according to scripture, he was more cunning, more subtle than any beast of the field. He is strategic, and he understands that if he continues to inundate us with sophistry and cause us to think that due to the evolution, as it were, of the times and culture, that we need now adopt these new terms and terminology and languages so that we, when I say we, I'm talking about the church, so that we can be relevant. No, 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 no. God didn't call us necessarily to be relevant. He called us to be redemptive. And redemption manifests the opportunity to repent, and redemption manifests through the preaching of the gospel. Truth, not lies, not fallacy, not make believe, not fairy tale. And so let's get into this. Now, before we dig our heels into the slides, I want to do some reading. You know, Prophet CT has articles that I've already posted on the website as it pertains to this entire subject matter. New articles have been posted, so you can go there. Yes, tonight. Don't go there right now, because I don't want you to get caught up in the information and start reading it where you're not listening to me. So stay with me. But after the broadcast, I want you to go to my website, ctjohnson.org, hit resource, that tab that says resource, and the information is there where you can click and download and print out what I'm going to highlight as it pertains to articles to help bring you and I further into the awareness of what Satan is doing. Because according to Ephesians 4:27, we are not to give place to the enemy. But one of the ways that we give place to the enemy is by remaining ignorant to his devices, ignorant to the stratagems, to the strategy that he uses to bring about his plan, to bring about his agenda, rather. So I'm going to get into some things here tonight, but I wanted to show you this before we get into what we're going to get into. All right. I want to, for those of you whom, again, this is new, this subject matter is new to you, what you're seeing as it pertains to those colors, that's the pedophile flag, the pedophile rather. That's the flag of the pedophiles, the pedophile community. Again, they have redefined themselves as MAP, minor attracted person. Now, still, that terminology still causes my hair to stand on edge. Minor attracted person. But again, they are using sophistry. They want to desensitize you to the seriousness of, and not just seriousness, but they want to desensitize you to the to their agenda as it pertains to the danger. That's the word. I was endeavoring to pull another word, but that will suffice as a synonym. They want to desensitize you as it pertains to the danger that awaits our children. Because if they can, again, normalize us to this behavior and cause us to think and believe that it's not what it actually is, that's giving place, that's giving an opening. And you know the old saying, if you give Satan an inch, he'll take a mile. But I wanted you to see this. So this is the flag, all right? And I don't have the breakdown as it pertains to the meaning of the colors, but do your own research or go to my website. I've done it for you. But we're going to get into two specific subtopics, which is Prostasia's goal to normalize pedophilia. Now, if you don't understand or don't know, if you've never heard of Prostasia, what do you need to do? Go to my website. The information is there, but I'll get into the specifics of this nonprofit organization, and keep that in the back of your mind. Prostasia is a nonprofit organization. We'll deal with that here in a minute, but we're going to talk about Prostasia's goal to normalize pedophilia, and then we're going to talk about the rationalization of deviant behavior. And see, that's, oh God, I'm trying not to hit nothing so soon. I'm only 18 minutes into this. And this is why the pedophile community has to redefine what pedophilia is. This is why they have to progress in their agenda to normalize us to this behavior because it's deviant. But if they can convince us that it's a disorder, y'all pray for the prophet. If they can convince us that the behavior is not deviant, it's not abnormal, it's not demonic, but a disorder. See, the purpose, rather, God help me, redefining meanings. And redefining a word does not negate its original meaning, does not negate its origin. But many of us don't even do our research as it pertains to anything if it does not interest us directly. But I want you to know this agenda to normalize pedophilia, you need to be interested in it, even if you don't have children, because there's someone connected to you, some way shape, or form. And our children are incapable to protect themselves. It is the responsibility not only of their parents, but it is the responsibility of every adult. We are responsible to protect them, not to prey on them. And so this community of pedophiles is endeavoring to convince us that the behavior is a disorder and it's not deviant. But now we'll come back to that. All right. We'll come back to that. I want to read some things to you. I want to highlight a few things from this article that is on my website. And it was published by 4w.pub. And it's in regards to the company, the nonprofit organization Prostasia. Remember, I just showed you on that first slide that Prostasia's goal is to normalize pedophilia. Now, Prostasia is a Greek word that means protection. It's a Greek word that means protection. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. I'm going somewhere. Prostasia, a nonprofit organization, its mission, quote unquote, I'm using air quotes for a reason, their mission is to protect children. They are a child protection agency, quote unquote. Prostasia, that term comes from the Greek word, or comes from a Greek word that means protection. And so in their name expresses and symbolizes their mission and their mandate that is supposed to be the protection, the safeguarding of children. Now listen to this. And I'm reading from the article that was written by 4w.pub. And the article opens by saying this: for many, charitable status is a legitimizing factor taken into consideration when choosing what organization or foundation to donate to. Government recognition that an entity's work is valid enough to exempt them from taxes is often a good indicator of the work's importance. Now, so the writer opens by informing us, one, that Prostasia is a charitable organization, and that charitable organizations are tax exempt, and that tax exempt status given by the government normally is an indicator that the work, the mandate, the mission of said organization is significant. It's important. That tax exempt status is an indicator that what that organization is doing is commendable, and that they are worthy of support, and the work warrants them that tax exemption. However, the writer goes on to say this, however, there are always exceptions. Now, y'all just bear with me as I do some reading, but I'm telling you, it's going to intrigue you if you're a person of thought. California-based charity Prostasia, it's California-based, is one such deviation to the rule, the organization having been given IRS tax exemption in 2018, while marketing itself as a child's right organization, children's rights organization, excuse me. While marketing itself as a children's rights organization, Prostasia is veritable is a veritable grab bag of causes surrounding sex and sexuality. But there is plenty of evidence to demonstrate that the real story is not so simple. The writer goes on to say, in Prostasia's blog entries, all of this is context. All of this is context. In Prostasia's blog entries, child protection routinely, listen to this, child protection, in quotes, routinely ends up in the same sentence as free speech, kink, or sex positivity. The topics of age play, furies, hentai, and prostitution are spoken about no differently as and often with no barrier between child sexuality and child sexual abuse. So in other words, there is a a oh, there's a word I'm trying to pull, but in other words, there is a mixing. There's a mixing. This organization is supposed to be, again, a children's right organization, protecting children, ensuring that children's rights are protected. If that is the case, then why is there this mixture and this mixing and this gray area in discussing certain subject matters? It is here in the not so hidden depths of prostate causes where it begins to mutate into something far more malicious, deviating very heavily from its veneer of supporting child safeguarding. So, what Prostasia is doing is using children's rights and or stating that they are a children's right organization is actually a smokescreen for their actual agenda, which is not necessarily to protect children, but it is to exploit children. Listen, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, because I got more to disclose here. In fact, as I continue, if my electronic device works with me, all right. In fact, protecting children from exposure to sex abuse seems to not just be at the very bottom of Prostasia's to-do list. It is almost antithetical to its entire existence, meaning opposite, meaning in opposition, meaning opposes. So again, do your research. This non-charitable company, Prostasia, has ulterior motives. Their children's right face and or act is a veneer. Again, they're not in the business of protecting children. Rather, they are in the business of exploiting children. Let me read a little more. Prostasia sees the threat pedophiles pose to children as a boogeyman dreamed up by the alt-right. The alt-right is an abbreviation for alternative right. The alternative right. This is my left, but however, alternative right, which is a loosely connected white nationalist or white supremacist neo-Nazi movement. So Prostasia, listen, Prostasia is comparing those who are rather, let me read it again. Prostasia sees the threat pedophiles pose to children as a boogeyman dreamed up by the alt-right. So in other words, what this statement is saying is that Prostasia is saying that this alt-right movement, this alternative right movement, is endeavoring to demonize pedophilia and or demonize pedophiles. Huh? And on the other hand, they say that anti-pedophiles, or those who are anti-pedophile, they are the ones that are projecting harm and or potentially harmful, because the argument is that pedophilia and or pedophiles is different. There's a distinction between a pedophile and a sex offender. The argument is, and not just Prostasia, but other pro-pedophile organizations and groups, supporters, their argument in defense of pedophilia is that, again, a pedophile is one who simply has an attraction toward a minor. The sex offender is one that has engaged in sexual contact and or activity. Well, let's pause here for a minute. I want you to understand that what you are attracted to and or have a desire for, eventually, hear me, lean in, you will pursue. I was attracted to my wife 19 years ago tomorrow. And it was my attraction that initiated pursuit that resulted in marriage. So if an adult is attracted to a minor, it's only a matter of time. Y'all not talking back to me. That, and listen, that's just preacher jargon. All right. I know y'all talking back as a word in the comments, but that's just preacher jargon to keep you interested. But anyhow, it's only a matter of time before that attraction manifests into a behavior. And this is why we must wake up. We must extract our heads out of the proverbial sand and realize that there is a stratagem of darkness that is being pushed, and it's called normalization. It's only a matter of time. And I said this on the initial broadcast. The homosexual agenda, the homosexual community had the same agenda. The pedophile communities they have actually torn a page out of the LGBTQ's book. Homosexuality, same-sex marriage was legalized because we were normalized to it. And it's only a matter of time that pedophilia becomes legalized. And the legalization will be a result of our normalization. All right, let me move on. So, listen to this. Once these threads quickly unravel, Prostasia's goals and underlying purposes becomes increasingly clear. Despite its attempts to role play as a mere progressive activist organization, all of Prostasia's goals and campaigns lead to the exact same conclusion: the total normalization and acceptance of pedophilia in a wider society. So I have a few more quotes from this article that I want to read to help set the context. And then we're going to get into the next phase of this discussion, and we'll go into our slides. But this organization, and there are others like it, that are hiding behind the veneer of protecting children. Now, listen to this. So I want to reiterate the goal of this nonprofit charitable organization. Oh, yeah, they're being charitable, all right, charitable toward the pedophile community. But their entire goal is to what? Totally normalize pedophilia and to make it accepted in a wider society, by a wider society, the total normalization and acceptance of pedophilia in a wider society. Let me move on. And I'll go to my website so you can read this article in its entirety. I'm jumping around. I have certain things highlighted that I felt significant and needed to be addressed. In many cases, the subject returns to the liberation of MAPS, or minor attracted people, a more socially acceptable way to refer to pedophiles. I told you in the beginning, sophistry is also a part of this stratagem of darkness, normalization, but they are going to normalize us to the pedophilia agenda by sophistry, redefining words, ascribing new language, redefining meanings, ascribing new language, new vernacular. But the goal is to liberate, Jesus, I need to hit something, to liberate the pedophile, to make them feel more comfortable about coming out of the closet in regards to their attraction to minors. Do you see the warpedness of the minds of these people? Talk about demonic. Talk about psychological bondage. Their concern, Prostasia, this organization is concerned about the liberation of the pedophile, not the protection of children. Now, listen to this. In many cases, the subject returns to the liberation of MAPS, or minor attracted people, pedophiles. Most of the pro-pedophile discussion happens in the forums dedicated to sex positivity section. Prostasia, on their website, their blog, they have a sex positivity section. And Prostasia, how can you be a nonprofit charitable organization, supposedly your mission is children's rights, and you're pro-pedophile or pro-pedophilia? That's oxymoronic. No. How can you, come on here, how can you be a child's right organization and you're pro-pedophilia? All right. Listen to this. I'm going to further prove in this article, or by way of the article, further prove again the hidden agenda of Prostasia. It repeatedly claims, the organization Prostasia, there is evidence to support that pedophilia is comparable to a sexual orientation. Do y'all see the progression of the agenda? Now, pro-pedophiles, pro-pedophilia, individuals who are pro-pedophilia, let me say it that way, those who are pro-pedophilia, they are endeavoring to say, not endeavoring, they are now comparing pedophilia to sexual orientation. Well, sexual orientation, what is that? My sexual orientation is a heterosexual. Sexual orientation. Now, transgender is considered a sexual orientation. Are y'all following me? So they are trying to link their agenda to the homosexual and or the LGBT community agenda. So it won't be long in their campaign to normalize us to pedophilia by redefining the meaning and ascribing new language. They are going to create rather, a new sexual orientation called pedophilia. Pedophilia as a sexual orientation. Listen, while citing Toronto psychiatrist Dr. James Cantor, who is infamous for his tweets demanding the inclusion of pedophiles in the LGBT spectrum, Cantor is a member of the Prostasia team. So they are linking with professionals. They are recruiting professionals to help support and undergird and push their agenda. In another one of its campaigns, one focused on arguing against the necessity of the sex offender registry. This person was establishing an argument against the sex offender registry. Now, I don't care what you say. If you are standing against the sex offender registry and you're endeavoring to destroy it, to get rid of it, you're presenting arguments saying that there's no need for a sex offender registry. I am suspicious about you. And my suspicion is valid. Listen to this. Again, arguing against the necessity of the sex offender registry, it provided multiple articles written by another one of its then staff, Guy Hamilton Smith. Guy Hamilton Smith. I'm still dealing with Prostasia, this quote unquote organization, charitable organization that's supposed to be standing for children's rights, which is bogus. It's a lie. This person, Guy Hamilton, was an individual that was siding with the argument that the sex offender registry was not a necessity. Hamilton Smith, Guy Hamilton Smith is his name. Hamilton Smith, a lawyer in the state of Kentucky, wrote several times for the Prostasia blog that measures to keep registered offenders away from children, such as a school zone bans were ineffective and unnecessary. Did y'all catch that? Let me read it again. Hamilton Smith, a lawyer in the state of Kentucky, wrote several times for the Prostasia blog that measures to keep registered offenders away from children, such as school zone bans were ineffective and unnecessary. Ineffective and unnecessary. A quick search in the publicly available database of registered sex offenders, listen, found that Guy Hamilton Smith was registered after being caught with child sexual exploitation material. I told you, anybody that is against the National Sex Offender Registry, I'm suspicious of you. And this gentleman was in agreement with the argument that the sex offender registry was a non-necessity. And the reason being because he himself was on the sex offender registry. Oh my God. All right. I thought I was going to be able to finish all this tonight. I'm not, because time has already gotten away. I only got a few more minutes. But I hope you all are seeing the severity of this, not dismissing the seriousness, the weightiness of this agenda. And listen, somebody says, well, prophet, we just need to pray. We just need to pray. I agree with you. Prayer is essential in turning turning Satan's agenda. Prayer, intercession is essential in pushing back on what it is hell is endeavoring to bring into the earth realm. However, it's not praying or prayer in and of itself. We have to pray and intercede strategically. And see, that's where the church is missed it. Satan, hell, has a strategy. And this is a part of their strategy. This is a part of their stratagem to normalize pedophilia, to normalize it. We don't have a strategy. We just have a feeling. I got a feeling everything's going to be all right. No, your feeling of everything's going to be all right is predicated, as far as the being all right part, is predicated a solution, resolve, resolution, rectification, kickback, the ability to conquer, to overthrow these principalities of darkness is going to come only through a strategy. We must have a strategy in prayer, a strategy when we intercede. We need to know what weapon, what spiritual weapon to pull, to draw out of our arsenal. And not only spiritual, but what educational, what scientific, what political angle, weapon we need use, extract, pull from our arsenal. We have to combine the spiritual aspect that is involved in defeating the enemy with the natural. We have to educate ourselves as it pertains to this agenda. Because if you have no knowledge of what's going on, how can you pray effectively? You're praying amiss. You lack the information, you lack the knowledge, you lack understanding, you lack comprehension, you lack all of that which is needed in order for you to hit the enemy with intensity and hit him whereby the blow causes damage and not just aggravates him. Now, I got 2 minutes and I got to let this go. In 2017, Berlasky tweeted, pedophiles are essentially a stigmatized group. Now, I want you to see, I'm taking time going through this, building the context of this subject matter, because I want you to see the intelligence behind Satan's agenda. See? Intelligence is needed. Let me say it this way. When you're engaged, when you're in combat with an intelligent opponent, you need, in order to defeat them, you need to advance them in knowledge. You need to advance them intellectually. You can't even be on an equivalent level if you're going to defeat your enemy. And that's our problem. We just, well, the Lord's going to fix it. No, 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 no. We have responsibility. But I want you to see that they are endeavoring to present and display the pedophile as the victim. In 2017, Berlasky tweeted, pedophiles are essentially a stigmatized group. The pedophile. I'm closing with this. Another staff member, ex-staff member of Prostasia, we'll pick up next week. Jeff White was on the sex offender registry for criminal sexual conduct with a child under the age of 13. This is an ex-staff member of this organization, Prostasia. Ultimately, Prostasia is no normal 5013C charity, and its attempts to gain legitimacy and forward their agenda into the mainstream should not just be rejected, the writer says, but actively fought against. Well, you can't fight against what you are ignorant of. And that's the essence of me taking time tonight to develop context as it pertains to the agenda to normalize pedophilia and to deal specifically with this organization. Because you can't effectively fight what you are ignorant of. You can't win a war void of necessary information as it pertains to not only your enemy, but you need to be informed as it pertains to the rules of engagement. You need to be informed as it pertains to the doctrine of war. You need to be informed as it pertains to the structure of war. You just don't jump in a fight. A boxer just doesn't jump in a fight. That boxer is not only trained as it pertains to the sport of boxing, but they are educated as it pertains to the totality of the sport, not just the engagement portion and or aspect. All right, I don't know when I flipped to the giving information. I must have hit the mouse. I don't know when that happened. But nonetheless, it is giving time. It is giving time. If you're led to sow tonight into what we've discussed, because listen, what I'm doing is not easy, and your prayers are appreciated and they are needed. And also your financial support to enable CT Johnson Ministries and Empowerment Monday to continue doing what we're doing. And that is crying aloud and sparing not, and empowering you, all right? Enlightening you, empowering your thinking so that you can change your life and change lives. But you can go to the website. The information is there. You can give by way of our website, ctjohnson.org. You can use the text option, text CTJM to 54244. You can give via PayPal. The email rather for PayPal is info@CT Ministries. Or, of course, you can give by way of Cash App, CT Johnson, or rather CTJ Ministries. All right. Also, go to the website. There's some powerful teachings that we have added. The Rewards of Diligence is one. There's a powerful ebook that I wrote maybe a year or so ago, Overcoming Obstacles. Powerful, powerful. Go there. And of course, if you have not as of yet purchase my brand new book, you can purchase it from my website, ctjohnson.org. Listen, I'll be back next week. We're going to go deeper into this. I'm not done. I'm just getting started as it pertains to the agenda to normalize pedophilia. So be with me next week as I take you deeper into this teaching. Until then, have a powerful, progressive rest of the week. And I'll see you next week. I love you. Be empowered. Thank you for tuning into Empowerment Monday with me, Prophet CT Johnson. would you prayerfully consider partnering with C.T. Johnson Ministries International? Enable us to continue to declare truth and empower lives. Go to ctjohnson.org/partnership and sow your best seed today. I also invite you to like and follow the ministry's Facebook page at C.T. Johnson Ministries, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel, also C.T. Johnson Ministries. Remember to click the bell to receive notification of live broadcasts and newly uploaded content. For further information about the ministry, products, and the various services we offer, visit the website at ctjohnson.org. Until next time, be empowered.